poppin' YouTube? It is Sydney Arden here. That is Arden with a Y, not an S. And excuse you for assuming that an S was up in that mug, because it's not, okay? It's a little different. It's different. Because I'm different. I'm an alien. I'm an itty bitty black alien, okay? So, how y'all doing? Did you wash your booty this morning? Did you? Did you brush your teeth this morning? I hope you did those things, okay? Okay, so in this video today, we are going to talk about the difference between Lilith and Mars in astrology, right? We're going to talk about your sexuality. And I'm not going to bleep the word sex and sexuality out of this video because I'm tired of that. Like, when I first started doing YouTube, I did not bleep nothing out, okay? My Mars in Aries is like, I've had enough, okay? I'm tired of censoring my damn self. We are talking about Lilith versus Mars in this particular video, right? Because I'm sure people have their curiosities and they have their questions, because Lilith and Mars both do rule sexual aspects of ourselves, but just in very different ways, right? So Mars rules our sex drive. It rules the many ways that we go about getting sex, you know, and the ways that we go about flirting with people in order to get in the bedroom with them, for example. It also rules our willpower. Planet Mars is the planet of action, okay? It is also the planet of desire. Planet Mars does rule your sexual desires, but it rules your sexual desires on a more surface level compared to your Lilith, right? If you're going to compare the two. Your Lilith represents your sexuality on a very subconscious level, okay? It rules your sexuality in its shadow form, right? These are the aspects of your sexuality that you got it there, right? Like you're aware of it, but you wouldn't let other people know. And these are also aspects of your sexuality that you are not aware of, that is very hidden, that you may have to do a little bit of shadow work or spiritual work to get in tune with, right? So your Lilith placement is a little bit more dangerous than your Mars, right? Your Mars is your physical energy, right? It's your willpower and how you get motivated when it comes to getting up and starting a project, or when it comes to being able to get your butt up out the bed and go to the gym, right? So, you know, we have placements that are debilitated when it comes to Mars, and there are placements that are exalted. When I say debilitated means down here. So there are placements that are debilitated when it comes to your Mars, and then there are placements that are exalted when it comes to your Mars. Sexuality. I don't know if that Rihanna song is popular, but that's my jam. That's one of my favorite Rihanna songs. Sexuality. How the song go? Do 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 do. Sexuality. I love it because it got this like old school vibe to it. But anyway, Lilith and Mars. Okay, so let's talk about Mars first, because Mars is on the surface, right? It's the surface level of your sexuality. So let's talk about Mars. Mars, planet Mars in astrology, is in fact the god of war. Sorry for the air conditioning sound that just came up. Mars is the god of war, right? And Mars rules Aries and co-rules Scorpio, right? So when it comes to Mars, when you are trying to figure out the energy behind Mars and you're trying to get an image, you're trying to get a feel for what Mars represents, think about Aries, people. Think about Aries energy. Mars rules Aries, but it co-rules Scorpio. So Aries and Scorpio people can be quite combative, and I'm sure you've noticed from your life experiences with these two signs. I sure have. God dang it, I sure have. So planet Mars, it rules the ways in which you go about getting it in, how you flirt, you know what I'm saying, how you approach sex when it comes to initiating it, and when it comes to, you know, in the bedroom, right? How you do it, what you like in the bedroom. what turns you on in the bedroom and what turns you off on a more surface level, right? Whereas Venus is the more romantic attraction, right? We're not talking too much about Venus in this video, but I just want to mention Venus because Venus is the more feminine aspect of this, right? Mars is masculine, Venus is more feminine. Venus is your more romantic attraction, whereas Mars is more your sexual attraction, right? Mars is more of a physical attraction. But let's talk about Lilith, which is, ooh, Lilith is spicy, okay? Lilith is spicy. And speaking of Lilith, check out my video. I'm gonna move my black cell phone over here. Lilith, on the other hand, is dark. It's dark. Mars it could be a little bit more fun, right? You can approach Mars with a little bit more fun. If you have a hard time looking at your shadow side, you will have a hard time reading information about your Lilith. You may read your Lilith and be like, I hope no one finds out about that, you know, because Lilith is dark, right? Lilith is the perversion of whatever sign your Lilith is in, right? Lilith can be more of the corrupt aspect of that sign, depending on where you are in your spiritual journey. So Lilith rules the more subconscious aspect of our sexuality, and it also rules the subconscious aspect of our personality as well. But sexuality is very much wrapped in this because Lilith is a very sexually driven placement, right? Lilith represents the taboo aspects of sexuality and how we approach taboo subjects when it comes to sex. So I went in full depth of Lilith in astrology. It was a few years back. I went in depth, you know, I went in depth as far as the myth behind Lilith, the whole story, right? And its biblical roots and you know, the type of asteroid it was and all those types of things. And the link for that video will be in the description box below. I was so theatrical and goofy in that video. If you want a theatrical, goofy, yet very well informed Lilith and astrology explained video, check that out. Lilith, Lilith, she nasty. Lilith, nasty. Lilith represents our primitive impulses. Lilith represents our desires of the flesh. But it's not so simple. A lot of the times our core wounds, childhood traumas, are associated with this dark aspect of our sexuality when it comes to Lilith. Lilith represents the taboo aspects of sexuality. In men, a man's Lilith placement can point to the type of women that he is fiercely sexually attracted to, yet terrified of. Lilith can point to that in men. In women, Lilith can point to a way that a woman can manipulate a man or a woman, can manipulate a man or a woman into getting what she wants when it comes to sexuality, how she uses her sexuality to get what it is that she wants. It's the dark, feminine sexuality of humanity in men and women. Lilith is the aspect of you where your power, but also simultaneously your fears are, right? So Lilith is very powerful, but it's also where you can be detrimental towards yourself and how other people can be detrimental towards you when it comes to your sexuality and the darker aspects of your personality. And I will make a video touching up on the solely just the sexuality of the Lilith placements. I'm going to make a video discussing all 12 zodiac signs in Lilith. And touching up solely just on the sexuality, not on the other aspects that I talked about in the Lilith series. Go check that out. I made a Lilith series. So I hope this video explained the difference between your Mars and your Lilith as far as your sexuality goes. In astrology, Mars brushes more so on the surface level and Lilith brushes more so up on the subconscious level or the shadow aspects of your sexuality and your personality. I will make a video touching up on the each and every Lilith placement. I've also made a Mars series for each and every Mars sign. The links for all of the Mars and Lilith, all of the Mars and Lilith projects that I've ever done over the span of these few years will be in the description box below if you are interested in extra information. So that is all I have for you all today.